Fifi Mangaka here. The Edgelord, the dark yet cool rival and foil to the usually silly protagonist. Shadow the Hedgehog, Vegeta, Sasuke. It's so hard not to love the bad boy with an evil visage, but who really has a good heart underneath it all. I mean, come on, they just exude pure darkness and edge and tap into that 8-year-old version of yourself that loved that sort of thing. But as much as we all love edgelords for their serious nature in contrast to the usually derpy and nonsensical protagonist, it's just way too easy to make these characters one-note, generic, or sometimes even downright cringe. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to write the edgelord of your dreams without falling for any of the usual traps that can easily make these characters very unlikable. Keep in mind, this is all just my own opinion, and feel free to write your story however the heck you want. Let's go. Edgelords make bland protagonists. Sorry, it needs to be said. Edgy characters usually have one emotion, serious, and rarely do characters with this trope break from that box. In fact, it's part of what makes them likable in a strange and ironic way. They can balance out a cast of jokester silly characters with their serious and realistic approach to any situation. That said, this trait is exactly why they often make really bland protagonists. Sure, they may have a mysterious allure and a brooding demeanor that you may find intriguing at first, but as the story progresses, their lack of varied expression becomes way too obvious. The edgelord tends to be trapped in a perpetual state of darkness and angst, and rarely showcases any other facets of their personality. And this is something that makes them really hard to relate to. And relating to the audience is one of the main protagonist's chief concerns and only job. If the readers don't like the hero, they're usually not inclined to keep reading. Now, that's not to say that all characters with a hint of darkness or seriousness are inherently bland. It's when these traits become the sole defining characteristics of a protagonist that they start to lose their appeal. A well-rounded main character should possess some kind of depth, varied expressions, and somewhat complex emotions, though that one is certainly negotiable depending on how lighthearted your main character is. So consider making your edgy character a supporting arm for your main protagonist rather than making them the main protagonist themselves. Consider how their personality may do more for your cast by balancing it out instead of leading it. If you're set on an edgy hero, you've really got to add depth to the character. Give them meaningful relationships that challenge their dark worldview. Introduce characters that are the polar opposite to them. Maybe they're lighthearted and funny, think Guts and Pug. Most importantly though, give your hero moments of vulnerability. Please, for the love of goodness, let them laugh, cry, and everything in between so there can be some kind of relief from the darkness when they let their guard down. Okay, next in our edgy endeavors are the backstory. IMO, this is what really matters. The backstory of your character can potentially justify their behavior and demeanor to the audience and make it all make sense. But the trick here is that there's a fine line between, they're edgy like this because of this past event, and oh, they're edgy like this because they're Mary Sue or Gary Stu. So when you're deciding on the backstory for a character of this archetype, it's really crucial to strike a delicate balance. We want to avoid the pitfall of resorting to a generic, tragic past that feels contrived or lacks some kind of originality. There are really so many other themes that you can go for here that are really interesting. Heartbreak, fear, trust issues, rivalry, injustice. You can go so many different routes that don't simply amount to something really bad happened to me when I was younger and now I'm mad about it. Maybe their shadowy persona stems from a fear of opening up to others. Maybe it's rejection that makes them prefer a life of an outcast. Or perhaps they bear the weight of some kind of secret burden or something they feel prevents them from getting close to people. When the audience is made aware of just what life was like for your character that caused them to be an emotional recluse, it can really create an aha moment that serves as an important step of the character's narrative arc. From my experience, I find that the backstory is typically one of the reasons why audiences really don't like the edgelord character. They want to like the edgelord character, they want a reason to like this character, and a lot of us hope that that reason is revealed in the backstory. But most of the time, the backstory is just something that amounts to so much tragedy occurred to this character that they're just edgy now. They're just dark, they're just mean. And that's not enough justification for basically what we have to deal with this character archetype. So when you're writing your own character of this archetype, keep in mind that the backstory is really the place where you can justify all of their behaviors. All right, lastly, this one is for my brave folks who are going to charge forward with their edgy characters no matter what. Let's talk about adding a pinch of humor to this dark character's repertoire. I know, it may seem really counterintuitive to blast a bit of comedy into a character known for their menacing nature, but trust me on this one, okay? Gags can create an undeniably likable character. If you can incorporate well-timed comedic moments, you can humanize a character that may usually seem incredibly unrelatable. You can show that even in serious times, they can experience some bright and goofy moments. Not only does this add depth to their character, but it also makes them more relatable and likable. I mean, a good laugh in the face of impending doom is still a pretty good way to go out, I think. But remember, subtlety is key with gags. You really don't want to turn this type of character into a stand-up comedian. Instead, you want to sprinkle these moments of humor very, very sparingly into different situations in your story. It'll keep the audience engaged and invested in your character despite their edgy nature, because they'll probably start to anticipate and even really look forward to those unexpected moments of comic relief. So if you're brave enough to choose an edgelord character as your main character, don't forget how you can use the power of humor and comedy to time moments where this character's personality can shine through despite their trope. We tend to make fun of the great edgelord, but deep down, we do really like the effortless, cool nature of this serious archetype. You could maybe even argue that our fascination with edgy characters stems from some kind of desire for escapism. Everyone's expected to conform to societal norms and always put on a happy face, but the dark, serious character shows us a rebellious alternative. They embody real raw emotions and suppressed darkness within all of us, allowing us to explore those aspects vicariously through their characters. Go on and write your edgelord, I won't be mad at you, but just make sure you consider following some of my tips. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I'm Fifi Mangaka, and my channel is all about lore, character design, and literary tropes. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'll see you later. Bye.